No. I'm more interested in your wife. Does she sleep in the same bed with you?
First of all, I'm calling to speak truth, justice, the American way. So I want to correct you on a big mistake. I got to correct Brian on a huge mistake he made when he talked to me last. And then I'll get to my point. And what it is, I have a screenshot from CNN. He told me, I told him about the playbook of the Democrats of defund the police. He said not one prominent Democrat.
Nope, didn't say that. Nope, I never said that. I asked you. Nope. Stop. I asked you to name one prominent Democrat. You were unable to do so. I never said there wasn't one Democrat. There were a few mayors and a few lower level people that were in favor. Very few, but there were some. See, the problem with you is, sir, you put words in my mouth. You made a claim on this show that making it sound like the majority of Democrats want to defund the police. I asked you a specific question. Can you name me one? And you sounded like a fool and you couldn't name me one. So don't call into this show and say, Brian, I got you on. I got you. You said there were no Democrats. I never said that. You can go back and rewind the tape and look at it. All my podcasts are on YouTube. You could go ahead and listen to it.
And unlike you, if Brian was inaccurate or I misspoke, we would admit it. We have no problem admitting it. But you know what? You're trying to gaslight everyone and make it seem like something happened that didn't. I remember that conversation.
And Leonard, the highest level Democrats were never against defunding the police. I'm talking about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and all the higher ups. What they were in favor for was reallocating funds from one precinct to another for better training. That's not defunding the police. So if you want to roll out and name a few assemblymen or assemblywomen or one or two mayors, okay, I disagree with them. But you made it sound like the overwhelming majority of Democrats want to defund the police, just like you guys say the overwhelming majority of Democrats want to take all your guns away. They're both lies. So don't misquote me.
Here's what I got for you. So the low-level one on CNN, I screenshot it from today. Kamala Harris praised defund the police movement in June 2020 radio interview on CNN.
What did she say?
And it goes
what did she say? She was never for defunding the police.
Never.
She was never for defunding. She was never for defunding the police. She campaigned on it. What she was for was allocating funds from one precinct to another. She didn't want to take money away from the police. That's wrong. That's a lie.
You wanted to take money from the police and put it into different
reallocating funds to other areas where police can get better training. That's not what we call defund the police, and you don't know what you're talking about.
The chief of police of D.C. is asking
directly from CNN.
Okay, well,
let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
What I wanted to ask Leonard is, it came out in the Wall Street Journal today. What do you attribute the Democrats having the lowest public approval rating in like the last 35 years?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. I will tell you what it is. It's because we are people with morals and ethics, and we're trying to play by the rules, and we're trying to follow the law, and we're trying to give people due process, and we're trying to follow the ethical pattern of government and the norms and the institutions and maintain the institutions that made America great. And we're playing against the MAGAs who are lawless. They don't believe in civil rights. They don't believe in minority rights. They don't believe in educational rights. They think that they should have all the money, and that the billionaires, that's why they're unpopular. And I would agree with you. It's a mistake.
I would also say, though, you call yourself Democrat MAGA. I'm going to stop calling you that because you're MAGA.
MAGA.
Okay? You're MAGA.
No. Mega MAGA.
You can say no until the cows come home, but you never asked the question, Brian, what do you think about Donald Trump's approval numbers at the 6-month mark, were some of the worst they've been in 50 years? See, you won't ask something like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You only want to talk about the Democrat numbers, but you don't want to talk about the president of the United States right now, who's an adjudicated rapist, who's a 34-count felon, who is literally ripping up parts of the Constitution. But what you want to focus on, look at the approval numbers of the Democrats. You're not a Democrat. You're a MAGA. You're not fooling me for 1 second.
MAGA.
And you tried to get me. No. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. You tried to get me in a gotcha moment earlier, and you were proven to be a liar. You mischaracterized things that I say. You'll never get me in a gotcha moment. Okay, you're not Democrat MAGA. You're a MAGA through and through. Let me guess. You're a middle-aged white dude. Am I wrong?
Single.
No, I'm married, but I am a middle-aged white dude.
Boy, do I feel bad for your wife. Oh, my goodness.
Isn't it a strange marriage?
Hey, let me ask you this, too.
I can't wait.
Two other things, too.
I can't wait.
What do you think about people going in a huge uproar because they put the National Guard in D.C. for 30 days. Do you know there was over 600 arrests that wouldn't have been made if they weren't there? So wouldn't you
First of all, you assuming that those arrests wouldn't have been made unless they were there is idiocy, number one. Number two, excuse me, I'm trying to give you some facts.
And
so
he's
please,
assuming they're legitimate arrests.
Number two, you don't even know if they're legitimate. You don't know if any of these people were convicted. And the overwhelming majority that we do know of these people that were arrested were not felonies. So you have no idea what you're talking about.
But if it's just because it's a misdemeanor means it's fine, you can just go ahead and.
So you care about people. You care about misdemeanors and people that were arrested in D.C. without knowing any of the circumstances. But you're totally okay with Donald Trump, who pardoned a bunch of January 6th insurrectionists who beat cops. So spare me your BS.
You don't know for a fact that it's all misdemeanors. What's your statistic?
You're the one who's making. Okay, because they've already claimed that. The police precincts have already been putting out that information. You know what's public? Every arrest that have been made. Why don't you do your research and look it up? You're the one making the claim. Ooh, they made 600 arrests. Like, in fact, there was like 600 attempted murder charges. You don't know how this works. You're the one trying to praise them for 600 arrests. Why don't we call the people on January 6th hostages and patriots, right? That's the guy who you support. He called them hostages and patriots. But if somebody shoplifts, or God forbid, if somebody's jaywalking, you want to praise them for that, because some of those arrests were shoplifters and jaywalkers and homeless and misdemeanors and homeless people.
And so any city can do that. I worked in a city where we could go through the city any night, any time. And I promise you, I was a lieutenant. I could direct my guys to go ahead and put everybody in jail. And what you would have is a bunch of homeless people in jail for vagrancy and for loitering and things like that. And then you put them in jail. These are people with no money, and they have no way to pay the fines. So they get out in a day or two, and any city can do mass arrests anytime they want. But are they legitimate? Is that what the public wants? And by the way, just so you know, in June of 2020, Kamala Harris's exact quote on the interview you're talking about was to reimagine how we are creating safety.
MAGA, put your wife on the phone
and redirect
please.
Resources.
Can you please put your wife put your wife on the phone?
I don't think he'll let her speak. He's
put
a MAGA.
Put your wife on the phone. I want to speak to her. Is she in the car?
Very funny, but no.
Does she sleep?
He wouldn't let her talk.
Hey, Leonard, let me. I got.
No. I'm more interested in your wife. Does she sleep in the same bed with you?
Actually, she does.
When was the last time you two guys were intimate? Be honest.
Estimate.
1989.
That doesn't.
No surprise.
This is the first time that this guy's actually said something that's factual
and accurate.
Yeah.
And believable.
Yeah. He and Donald
Trump.
This
is more believable than what he said about Kamala Harris.
What he just said about his wife not being intimate with him since 1989 is more believable than anything else he's ever said on this show.
I'm going to call him Mega MAGA.
Sir, I appreciate you. We're going to call you the MAGA Virgin, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'll call you next week.
All right. I appreciate your time, MAGA. Thank you very much.
And thanks, Mega MAGA.
Since 1989. Wow. That's rough.
And I'm sure, and I haven't looked at the chat, but I'm sure in the chat, they're now believing what he says instead of saying he's just a liar.
Yeah. Well, he didn't lie about that. I don't think there's always truth. You know how people say there's always a little bit of truth to every joke. I don't think
he's one of those guys who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
But he's actually in the, lower IQ, silly, kind of nobody really pays attention. They're like, okay, MAGA. What was his name? MAGA more. What was his name?
He called him Democrat MAGA.
Yeah, he's no Democrat.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not. That would be like saying he's a male gigolo.
There's no such
thing. We know
thing.
That's not the truth either.